So welcome back to Sprague Homestead. Today I'm going to show you how to trim your rabbit nails. So before we get started bringing the rabbits out, there's a couple things you want to have on hand. Naturally, some trimmers. Now you can use whatever it feels comfortable to you. Now, most of my good friends use the bigger dog nail clippers. I don't like these. I actually like these little puppy and kitty clippers. You can also use these on birds. For me, they fit on my finger really well, and I can, do them pretty easily. With these bigger clippers, if I can get them unlocked, I have to do this, even with the spring loaded. So for me, it's not as comfortable, but you may find that this works better for you. The other things you want to have is some kind of blood stop powder. You can use a variety of different stuff. You can buy commercial blood stop powder. You can do cornstarch, which is what this is. You can even use flour. So just anything that's going to stop the blood in case we get too far down into the quick. The other thing that's kind of handy to have is a towel. Either, I usually use like a smaller dish towel, because usually the only rabbits that give me a hard time are the little ones, which we'll use on one of the Toenails so you can kind of see exactly how you're wrapping it. You can use a bigger towel on a bigger rabbit if that works for you. I know a girlfriend of mine that used to raise New Zealands would have to towel wrap her New Zealands because they really don't like to be messed with on their feet. So that's it for tools of the trade. That's all we're going to need. Let me get one of the rabbits out. Okay, so our first rabbit that we're going to do is going to be Homestead. Now I'm going to use her because she's got white nails, so it's easier to see where the quick is. When you're doing it, you want to find a good tabletop surface about waist height if you can find one. And if you've got something like this, it's got a corner in it, very helpful, which you'll see in a minute. If not, you can do it on a table. I know people who actually will sit down in a chair and turn them over. Find a position that's comfortable for you that you can get the rabbit to relax. Now on these big rabbits, to turn them over, now you'll see I kind of pinch the nape a little bit as we turn it over. That's just for control. So we go over into between the ears, turn them over. Now I'm right-handed, so I always have to do the switcheroo. I know people who can trim the other way, but see where I put her into the corner? Okay, so with her nails, the first thing we're gonna do, and these whites grow crazy fast. So you can see she got done 6 weeks ago and she's in real need, but you can see where that quick comes. See that darker pink part and then the white? So what we're doing is we're gonna cut back kind of into the curve of that nail. And we're gonna see where it curves right there. We're gonna go ahead and take it off to there. Now you can see where the very tail end of that quick is. Now I always clip one, wait a second, watch for any sign of blood. That would give me an idea that I'm getting too short. And if you're not confident in where that is, it's better to cut long and recut a couple of times, taking a little bit off at a time, than it is to make them bleed if you can avoid it. Because naturally rabbits, like all things, like all people even, you have a little bit of pain and then it kind of ruins the experience. Especially on a younger rabbit, you want to be very careful not to make them bleed, just because it can make subsequent nail trimmings really difficult. Doesn't really hurt them. I mean, I'm sure it stings. It's like when we break a nail off too short. Make sure when you do the nails that you're also looking for those dew claw nails, which can be kind of a pain, and sometimes you have to have help for them. And back into the curve. And back into the curve. Okay, so the front nails are a lot of times a little bit easier than the backs. A lot of times rabbits will kick. What I like to do is I like to tuck one nail past my armpit, pull the other one up. Now remember, we've got 4 toes on the back. And it's the same thing. Now usually these things are a little bit thicker, so getting a good clip on them is really important. And if you're with a rabbit that's really nervous, be really careful about having it too close to your face. Now Homestead is a 3-year-old doe and she's had her nails done a million times, so she's not too worried about it. But I have, on occasion, especially with bucks, had a buck that likes to upkick. And if that happens, just kind of load him up, kind of like lean him over a little bit further so that back foot is braced up against your elbow or your armpit. Not saying that they can't get you in the face, but it's a little less likely. All right, and that's it. All done. So let's get a Toenails out. They've got darker nails, and the size makes them a little bit more challenging. So we'll show one of those. All right, so with Toenails and a lot of your colored rabbits, you're gonna have darker nails. So it's the same process of turning them over. And the smaller the rabbit, the more of a pain they can be getting them in position. There we go. Stop. Stop. The bigger rabbits seem to relax a little bit better. Okay, so what's different here is the quick is a whole lot more difficult to see. So really what we're looking for, you can kind of see that pink comes to about here. And her nails aren't terrible, but we're going to go ahead and do them anyway. So what you're really looking for on these dark-nailed rabbits is that curvature. That curve where they'll come straight out and then they start to come over. If you kind of cut them off right as they're curving over, usually you won't hit anything. Now sometimes you'll get a rabbit, mini Rex in particular, in my experience, have nails sometimes that grow more straight out. And when that happens, you really just got to do your best and kind of get a feel for it, because every rabbit's a little bit different. But like even her, see, she's got no real curvature there, and that one's not very long, so I'm just going to take the tip off of it. Now with the older rabbits, a lot of times you won't have to do every nail. You know, life happens, they'll break one just like we do. But do make sure that you check every single one, because a nail that gets missed can be a problem later. I make it an effort to touch every nail, even if I find that I don't want to take it off. That way I'm not missing anything. So in my head I count. I usually do out to inside, then I do the dew claw, and then I go from back to the outside to the inside. And that one's good. And that one's... Now the little rabbits are the same way. They don't really like their back feet touched, but unfortunately they're so short you can't do much with them as far as tucking them in. But you're doing the same thing. You're looking to see if you can see that dark band of quick. When you're first starting out, if you don't get them all the way, like if you leave them a little long, just cut them more often until you get comfortable. Because like I said, I'd rather you leave them a little long than cut them too short and ruin the experience of it. All right, so that's her. Now I'm going to let her back up, and I'm going to show you how to wrap her in case you find that wrapping a rabbit is better for you, especially in littler ones. And this towel is a kind of small for a rabbit her size, but basically you lay the towel down. You're going to put the rabbit, come on baby, in the middle, and you're going to fold over. Oh, she's gotten fat. And it's better if you can get it all the way over and tucked. Then you're still going to grab them and turn them over. But what that does is it keeps them from kicking, and you can take one foot out, do it, and now she's all tense. You can put them back in. The big thing is it really helps with really squirmy rabbits that flail a whole lot or that tend to kick out a lot. She's actually a little bit big for this size towel, but you can get kind of the gist of it. And then unwrap them and they're done. All right, so that's it from Sprague Homestead on how to do your rabbit toenails. If you have questions, leave them down in the comment section. I'll be happy to get back to you. Keep in mind, nails are important. I know an awful lot of people that don't take the time to trim. That's meat breeders and show breeders alike. It is absolutely critical for the health and happiness of your rabbit. If you're not trimming those nails, you are more likely to end up with sore hocks, because what it does is the long nails causes them to change the position of the back foot pad, which will cause them to put more pressure on towards the back joint, which is where you end up with sore hocks. So make sure you're getting them done. Now, every rabbit is going to be on a different schedule. Most of our Harlequins run quarterly. Most of the Americans are also quarterly. My whites tend to be every 6 to 8 weeks. Triantas, 6 to 8 weeks. And when I had Rex, be ready, because it's almost every single month. So that's it for this time. We will see you next time. Happy homesteading, stay safe, and keep those nails trimmed.